Okay, let's dive in. Picture this. You're just browsing the news, maybe on a Sunday, and bam, Elon Musk announces a whole new messaging app. It's called XChat.
Yeah, sounds like pretty big news from a major tech figure.
Exactly. But then you get to this one detail in the announcement, something about Bitcoin-style encryption.
And that specific phrase, according to the BTC News article we're digging into today, is what really got people talking, or rather, got them skeptical.
Right. The article's called Elon Musk Announces Bitcoin-Style XChat, but tech experts are skeptical. Pretty clear headline.
It really lays out the whole situation. The announcement itself, why experts were raising eyebrows, and, how the market took it or didn't take it.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack what this article says about XChat, really focus on why that Bitcoin-style claim caused such a stir, according to the piece, and then look at the market's reaction as reported.
And the article does give us a little context on the market side. It mentions Bitcoin was basically trading flat, hovering around $105,000. This was apparently right after it had dropped, about 3% the week before. So not exactly a market frenzy situation.
Definitely not. A bit quiet, maybe cautious. Okay, so let's start with the announcement itself. What did the article say X and Musk actually revealed about XChat?
Well, the source says Musk announced it on a Sunday, and it lists the key features you might expect. Things like end-to-end encryption, messages that disappear.
Standard privacy features, okay.
Yeah, and also sending any kind of file, audio, video, whatever, and importantly, working across different platforms without needing your phone number linked.
Okay, that all sounds pretty modern. But the article really flags that one technical claim, doesn't it? The encryption bit.
That's the one, the Bitcoin-style encryption. The article mentions XChat is apparently built using Rust. That's a programming language known for safety.
Right, Rust gets good press.
It does. But then they add this claim about incorporating Bitcoin-style encryption, and that's where, according to the article, the skepticism started.
It sounds impressive, doesn't it, linking it to Bitcoin's tech? But the article makes it clear that both tech folks and the market, well, they weren't buying it.
Yeah, the article flat out says neither group was impressed. The doubts really centered on that security claim, that specific phrase.
And the BTC News piece actually brings in an expert to explain why it's problematic.
It does. It quotes Ian Mears. He's an assistant professor of computer science, University of Maryland.
Okay, a relevant expert. What did he say?
His quote, as reported, is pretty memorable. He says, Bitcoin primarily uses signatures, not encryption.
Signatures, not encryption.
Yep. And then the analogy. This is like saying, we decided to run our rocket on water since NASA uses hydrogen and oxygen.
Wow. Okay, that's blunt. So the expert's point, as the article presents it, is that it's a fundamental mix-up of cryptographic concepts.
Exactly. The article, drawing on Mara's point, clarifies the difference. Encryption, like for messaging apps, is about scrambling the content, making it private.
Keeping the message secret.
Right. But Bitcoin. The article explains it mainly uses cryptography for digital signatures.
Which is more about proving ownership.
Precisely. Proving a transaction is authentic, that it came from the right person, that it hasn't been messed with. It's about integrity and verification.
Yeah, I see.
In fact, the article stresses that the actual data moving between Bitcoin nodes isn't encrypted at all. It's public. The security comes from verifying the signatures.
So, okay, if you're building a messaging app, your main goal is usually privacy through encryption.
Usually, yes.
But claiming Bitcoin-style encryption is misleading because Bitcoin's main crypto trick for transactions is signatures for verification, and the data itself isn't kept secret between nodes.
That's the core of the criticism cited in the article. Mears is quoted basically saying Bitcoin-style and mentioning Rust don't actually describe an encryption scheme.
It sounds like maybe marketing language gone wrong.
That seems to be the implication from the expert's critique, like using terms without fully grasping the technical meaning. Mears also apparently added a point about Rust. He suspected that unless the encrypted messages only ever exist within the Rust part of the app, which might be unlikely, they probably involve other components too. So just saying Rust isn't the whole security story either.
That makes this skepticism really understandable. It's not just nitpicking the words, it's a fundamental technical distinction. Okay, so what about the market? The article mentioned the reaction there too.
Correct. Despite Musk announcing it, the article reports the Bitcoin market basically shrugged. Pretty muted reaction.
And the price didn't really move based on the data they cited?
Nope. Still flat, around $105,000 according to the CoinDesk data mentioned. It just held steady after that drop from the previous week. The XChat news didn't seem to make a dent.
Fascinating. So a big name, a tech announcement, even mentioning Bitcoin. But because the core technical claims seemed questionable to experts right away, the market, as reported, just ignored it.
It certainly seems that way based on this article. It suggests maybe the market looked past the buzzwords and saw the red flags the experts were pointing out.
Okay, so bringing this back to you, the listener, what's the takeaway from digging into this particular article?
Well, I think first off, it's a great reminder, based just on this source, to be critical of tech claims, especially when you hear buzzwords like Bitcoin style or AI-powered whatever. They might not mean what they seem to mean.
Absolutely. Look under the hood a bit. And the article actually gave us a neat little lesson via the expert on a key crypto difference: encryption for privacy versus signatures for verification, using Bitcoin as the example.
Yeah, really useful distinction. And finally, it shows how credibility works in tech and crypto. If experts immediately poke holes in an announcement, as reported here, that skepticism can kind of cancel out the hype, the market didn't bite.
Right. Okay, let's quickly sum up this deep dive then. We looked at the XChat announcement from Musk, that Bitcoin-style encryption claim that drew attention.
The strong expert pushback reported in the article, highlighting that crucial difference between signatures and encryption.
And the market's distinctly unimpressed, flat reaction, according to the source material. It's really a snapshot of tech claims meeting technical reality.
Definitely. A good case study in why the details really matter, maybe more than the big names sometimes.
So building on that exact tension, the marketing versus the technical substance that this article highlighted, here's something for you to think about. When you come across new apps, new services, and they're touting fancy technical features, maybe borrowing terms from crypto or AI or quantum, whatever, how do you actually evaluate those claims? What kinds of questions maybe should you start asking yourself about the tech they say is under the hood?